The global auto industry has been hit with a seismic shock. U.S. President Donald Trump has officially announced a 25% tariff on all imported vehicles and auto parts. The announcement came directly from the White House, with President Trump promising that the move will protect American jobs, revitalize domestic production, and generate over $100 billion annually in tax revenues for the U.S. Treasury. But this aggressive trade measure has left governments, car makers, workers, and financial markets deeply unsettled. Today, we will break down what this tariff means, who wins, who loses, and why this could change the global economy.
Countries for doing business in our country and taking our jobs, taking our wealth, taking a lot of things that they've been taking over the years. They've taken so much out of our country, friend and foe, and frankly, friend has been oftentimes much worse than foe. And this is very modest. And what we're going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States. If they're made in the United States, there's absolutely no tariff. We start off with a 2.5% base, which is what we were at, and we go to 25%.
A tariff is a tax imposed on goods imported into a country. In this case, every car, truck, SUV, or auto part crossing into the United States, regardless of country of origin, will now face an additional 25% duty. President Trump argues that this will push automakers to shift production to American soil, reduce dependency on foreign manufacturers, and plug what he calls unfair trade loopholes. He insists that this policy alone will deliver an estimated $100 billion annually into U.S. government coffers. Let's be clear, this is a massive disruption to the global car market. Nearly 47% of all vehicles sold in the United States last year were imported. That includes cars from Japan, Germany, South Korea, and even U.S. neighbors, Canada and Mexico, both of which are part of existing trade agreements. The tariff covers not only finished cars but also critical components from transmissions and engines to electronic parts, most of which are sourced from overseas. For context, a popular imported sedan priced at $40,000 could now face an additional $10,000 in tariffs, pushing its price to $50,000. According to Toyota, Honda, Volkswagen, and Hyundai, this will make their vehicles far less competitive in the U.S. market. Trump's move is already rattling global diplomacy. Japan, Germany, South Korea, Mexico, and the European Union have expressed immediate concerns. The European Commission warned that the U.S. may have violated WTO rules and threatened retaliatory tariffs on American exports, particularly targeting agriculture and industrial goods. Japan's government labeled the move regrettable and said it could strain the U.S.-Japan alliance. South Korea's trade minister warned of a possible complaint at the WTO, and Mexico is consulting legal options under the USMCA agreement. The risk of triggering a full-fledged trade war is now front and center. The fallout is not limited to foreign companies. General Motors, Ford, and Tesla may be based in the U.S., but their supply chains are deeply international. More than 60% of the parts used in vehicles assembled in the U.S. come from foreign suppliers. This means that even cars technically made in America will become more expensive due to pricier imported parts. Automakers warn that production costs will rise sharply, forcing them to either pass on the cost to consumers or reduce output. The American Automotive Policy Council, representing Detroit's Big Three, warned that tariffs could cause the loss of up to 300,000 U.S. jobs, primarily due to reduced sales and supply chain disruptions. Ford released a statement saying, "These tariffs will hurt American workers and consumers without solving the underlying issues in the global auto market." For U.S. customers, this translates directly into higher prices. Analysts at Morgan Stanley predict that average car prices could rise between 10% and 25%. This could make entry-level cars unaffordable for many middle-class Americans, potentially delaying purchases and reducing overall vehicle sales. Higher costs will not only affect new cars, but also used vehicles and repairs, as parts for maintenance and servicing will also be subjected to the 25% tariff. While the tariff is designed to protect American jobs, many fear it could have the opposite effect. Fewer sales mean lower production and less demand for labor. United Auto Workers, UAW President Shawn Fain cautiously welcomed Trump's effort to boost domestic manufacturing but warned, tariffs alone are not enough. Workers need real investments, not just promises. Factory workers across Michigan and Ohio, key battleground states, are watching closely as their future could now be tied to how this policy unfolds. Financial markets reacted immediately. Auto stocks plunged worldwide. Toyota, Volkswagen, and Hyundai all saw stock drops between 4 to 7% within hours of the announcement. Even U.S. companies weren't spared. Ford and GM fell nearly 5%, while the broader Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped by over 450 points. European and Asian indices followed suit, with the Nikkei, DAX, and Kospi all closing lower. Investors are now bracing for potential retaliation and further volatility in the coming weeks. Despite the uproar, President Trump stands firm. In a rally speech in Ohio, he declared, "This is about America first. We will not let foreign countries steal our jobs and our industries anymore." He promised that the revenue from the tariffs would fund infrastructure projects and other domestic initiatives. For Trump, this is not just an economic policy. It's a campaign promise delivered. So, will this strategy revive U.S. auto manufacturing, or will it trigger a damaging global trade war? While some American workers may benefit if production shifts back home, the risk of job losses, higher car prices, strained alliances, and market instability is undeniable. What's certain is that this is no ordinary tariff. This is a high-stakes gamble with the global economy watching.